Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. If you ever need help in that loud and crowded digital world, folks, the Drago and his team of professionals at Oak City Tech can help you get your message out to your current clients, more importantly, your future clients. So if you have any issues getting that message out, whether it's a website, an email campaign, go to oakcitytech.com. Tell Drago and his team what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Each week, about 31 chapters, around 520 or so business owners and sales professionals get together to help each other grow their businesses. And our small business success story this week, we are going out to the beach to our friends in the coastal region. And we have Brooke Skipper from Tropical Storm Chapter meets Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. at Angus Grill in Wilmington. Brooke and her husband, Devin, own Salt Air Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Good afternoon, Brooke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's life at the beach?
It's good. A little chilly here for us, but it's
All
good.
right. Are you a chilly or hot kind of liver?
I prefer the summer.
Do you? Okay. So you can hang out at the beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. So 11 plus years you've owned Salt Air, and word on the street is you're a badass business owner in the Wilmington region.
Okay.
Got that from
I'll take it.
very reliable sources. We are in transition season, and so we're 74 for a high today or something like that, but overnight 51, 52. So we're right in that range of turning our AC off, maybe turning our heat on. So what's a couple things we need to keep in mind to do that properly?
Sure. So we tell everyone this is the best time to have your maintenance done before it really gets cold. Have your maintenance performed by a professional. We would love to take care of it if you're in the Cape Fear area, but that's the number one thing I would say is to have your coils cleaned, your drains cleared, that sort of thing. And the other biggest tip that we give is to change your filters. It's such an easy thing to do, but it can save you a lot of money in service calls that could have been avoided, and of course, efficiency for your system.
When I was visiting your chapter, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you reminded us what will happen when we turn our heater on. And when you don't do something for a while, it's not like you forget about it. It's just not top of mind. And so people will smell what when they turn their heat on for the first time?
Oh yeah. The first time your heat cuts on, you'll hear or you'll smell kind of a burning smell, just this odd smell. And it's just the dust burning off of those heaters and heat strips. And it's totally normal. Of course, if it goes on for a prolonged period of time, definitely give us a call. But that is normal.
So help us with some myths. Every industry has these. So we think if the room temperature is 65 overnight and I wake up in the morning, I'm freezing, naturally, if I turn the heat immediately up to 74, the house will heat quicker. Not quite the case, right?
No. And of course, it's going to take a little bit for the home to heat up, even if you cut that heat on immediately and jack the temperature up 5-10 degrees. It's also going to cost you a little bit more on that heating bill. So, if you're going to adjust the temperature on your thermostat, do it 1 to 2 degrees at a time.
You talk about the filters. Another thing, these are usually, they're out of sight, out of mind. And sometimes, like in our house, on the bottom floor, there's a plant, not right in front of the grill where the filter goes, but you don't see it when you walk by. And then upstairs, it's on the ceiling, right? Drop down. Twice a year, once a year, how often should we hit those?
For filters, we say every 30 days. A good reminder is when you get your power bill, change your filter.
All right.
There's a lot of programs out there. We even have a shop on our website that you can go to anyone, anywhere, and can purchase filters and set them up on an auto ship. So you can get it once a month or once every 3 months, get 3 filters and change those out. But every 30 to 60 days is pretty typical if you have pets or, a big family, a lot of traffic in your home. I would suggest 30 days.
Now you have one of those seats in BNI that we love hearing about, but we really don't need you until we need you. But when we need you, we really need you, right? Like 7 o'clock on a Thursday night, right? 9 a.m. on a Sunday, things like that, that I know you love
Right.
doing. What are things so when you talk about the filter, what other things can we do at home to extend the life of the air conditioning unit?
The biggest thing is to have a maintenance plan
Yeah.
with a contractor that's coming out at least twice a year to clean your system and check it out. Um, Usually, those folks can also go ahead and give you a heads up of things that may need attention in the near future so that you can go ahead and budget for that or plan for that. But even if you just replaced your system, we hear this a lot. I just replaced my system. I won't need you guys for 10 years. Still maintain that system. Even having a maintenance contract from day one on a new install is going to prolong the life of the system.
Another thing I've seen as I walk and drive around neighborhoods is beautiful plants growing right over the HVAC unit, which is a
Yeah.
no-no, right?
It is a no-no. We see that a lot too. Fences, plants, bushes, anything that can kind of hide that eyesore. But if you want plants or you have your system, maybe in some sort of flower bed that you've created around it, that's fine. As long as you keep about a 3 foot clearance around all sides. It'll help keep those leaves and limbs and that sort of thing out of the system, but your HVAC tech will also love you because he or she can get to it a lot easier.
I'm sure you've had some of your staff has had to wrestle with beautiful plants, just lovely, but just not thought out that they were put there, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's a conversation we just have with the homeowner. Hey, we're
Yeah.
going to do our best to avoid these plants. They are a little close. Maybe when it comes, season that it's safe to move these plants, maybe consider it.
You've been at this almost 11 and a half years, if my math is correct. How does one get into the HVAC world? How did you do that?
Well, I'm married into the HVAC world. Um,
Wow, I
uh,
didn't see that one
yeah,
coming.
I actually went to school to be a teacher and did that for a while.
Mhm.
But Devin and I started Salt Air about 6 months before we got married. He's been in the HVAC world for about 18 years now. Worked for a couple of other companies, and we had talked about starting starting Salt Air. And when that opportunity came, it's kind of why not? We're pretty naive, young and naive, and didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. But um, it's been a success, and every day's different, and we're constantly learning new things and growing. And so it's been good. It's not been an easy journey, but it has been good.
What was the one thing as you did the pro and cons list, talked about timing and just everything that goes into this? What were the one or two things that made you guys realize this is the time to do this? So let's go ahead and make the move.
I don't think there was any one thing that really pushed us. And to be honest, we didn't do a pros and cons list, Mike. Again, we were young. I think let's see, I was about 23 at the time. Devin was 27. Um, and things weren't quite working where he was. He just wasn't happy with the company he was with. And again, it's something we had talked about for a while, dreamed about for a while. And we just said, go ahead, let's go for it.
Did you quit your teaching job full time at that point?
No, you don't make a lot of money when you're just starting out. So someone had to have, bring in some consistent funds there. But now I taught for about 2 years before coming on to Salt Air full time.
So
So we had
what?
about a 2 year period where it
Okay.
was Devin and a couple other guys working with him. And then I wasn't happy teaching, just, was not the career for me that I thought it would be. Um, and so, yeah, moved over to help kind of on the office admin side of things and never left.
When you guys opened, you were still teaching. What was your role with Salt Air during, I guess, once you got out of school for the day?
Um, so I didn't really have a role with Salt Air early on. I was still figuring out what it was like to be a teacher and everything that was involved in that. And I coached sports year round as well. So I had a pretty full load at the time and couldn't really handle anything else. But Devin was doing a lot of travel work too at the time with Salt Air. So there wasn't a ton of admin work that needed to be done outside of, we had a bookkeeper and accountant at the time. But Devin manned the phone himself.
Did you guys see each other very much that first year?
No. um, we saw each other on the weekends and, in the evenings and that sort of thing. But yeah, there were times where, Devin would be out of town for 3 or 4 days for work. And maybe I was in, Greensboro coaching a tournament or something like that. But when we were together, we made the most of it.
What sports did you coach?
I coached volleyball.
Ah, so you played somewhere, high school, UNCW?
I played in high school. Did not play college ball, but did play in high school and, kind of kept up with it for fun. There's volleyball leagues here at the beach, of course, in the area. And it's a sport I enjoy.
Are you a beach volleyball player?
For fun,
Yeah.
yes. Not a professional, but I do enjoy it.
Are you still able to find time to do that?
Sometimes, not during the summer, not during our busy months,
Yeah.
but when I have some time.
When you guys rolled out the first truck, it was Devin and who with him?
Oh, just Devin to
Okay.
start. And it was that way for a while before we were able to make our first hire. So
Okay. And then how long did it take to get that first hire?
uh, probably about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. We brought on a second person.
All right. And how many people are there now?
31.
Figured out something, didn't you?
We did. We did.
Now, you probably knew who your competition was, but then with all small business owners, then we go into that mode of, okay, why am I different? What helped with the growth for you guys?
I think our level of communication that we offer our clients, when they call into our office, whether it's a commercial or residential customer, they receive a confirmation that their appointment has been made, and we confirm that appointment beforehand. They get a text or email that their tech's on the way, and then in that text, there's a link they can actually follow along and watch the tech.
Mhm.
As they travel to their home. Once the service call is done, we do some follow up after and ask how was their experience. If it wasn't 5 stars, why wasn't it? Can we have some feedback? How could we have done better? How can we improve? So we really care about the customer experience. I know that people don't want to have to call us.
Yeah.
So it can be kind of nerve wracking. It can be expensive. There's a lot of unknown if the system is not working and it's 100 degrees outside and they have a home full of family from out of town. It's stressful. So we really work to make sure that our customer has the best experience and as low stress of an experience as they can.
And I don't get to give testimonies for everyone on the show, but I can give testimony for Salt Air. About, I
Yeah.
think it's probably about 6 weeks ago, I was staying at Paula and Steve's house in Wilmington when I was going to
Mhm.
visit chapters down there. And Paula and Steve were nice enough to let me stay at their house. And sure enough, the AC didn't kick on. And I believe I got back to their house about 5-ish, called Steve. They called you. I think your guy was out about 6:15 to the house. And that was on
Yeah,
a Tuesday or Wednesday night, yeah.
mhm. It always happens. It's always, when folks get home
Yeah,
and it's in the middle of summer or, late January when it is cold for like 3 to 4 weeks here.
yeah.
It's always when you get home from work that you figure it out.
Well, and what I like about, and I've told people this before, so I don't have a problem telling you this now that other people can hear it. What I like about the service world, and somebody shows up my front door just dressed like they gave a crap. That's how low the bar is set. Is just, if you have a collared shirt on, just tuck it in. I know you may have had a tough day. I get that, but just don't show up with grease everywhere getting ready to walk into my house. And your guy, I mean, the truck properly labeled, well done. He's got his, uniform shirt on. And you guys do another thing that a lot of folks don't do, is he put booties on his shoes when he walked into their house. And again, it's those little things though that make a difference. I'm sure you get comments on that as well.
We do, and I make sure that they are bright lime green shoe covers. So, people notice things
Yep.
like that. But it is to, protect our customers' home and, for our guys up in the attic or that sort of thing, we got to protect his
Yeah.
clothes too.
But that matters. Those are those little things that matter. So I've enjoyed that very much. The experience. He was there, I think maybe an hour. The drip pan had clogged up is what it was. And it's a simple fix for him. But again, you guys were out there in about an hour and 15 minutes on the end of the workday, shall we say. For husbands and wives that co-own a business and work together, I only have two questions, Brooke. What do you talk about at the end of the day, and who breaks the tie?
So we get asked about working together a
Mhm.
lot. What is it like? Or I can't understand how you work together. I could never work with my husband or my
Yep.
wife. Or, but Devin and I work on different parts of the business. We do see each other a lot, but there are days where we don't see each other. From the hours of 5 a.m. when we're up to when we get home at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Um, but we work well together. We work as a team. And when things need to be handled at work, we handle those. But there are times, after work when we do finally see each other, we're sitting down at dinner. There's things that we have to discuss, of course, about work. But we do make a very conscious effort to kind of talk about what we need to and then put work away for the day
Mhm.
and talk about other things.
Mhm.
So
And who is more likely to go, "Oh, hun, let me check one more work email before I go to bed"?
mm, I'm gonna say Devin.
Good, because he's not here.
Yeah.
That'll work. So who breaks the tie when a decision needs to be made?
I guess it depends on the department. I mean, if it's something marketing, financial related, um, office staffing related, I think that would be myself. If it's field or technical questions, then Devin for sure.
How are your skills on a service call?
Let's just say I would have to call tech support more than the average technician. So
Do you have a wrapped truck that you drive?
I do not.
Oh, see,
I do not.
Brooke, to really round this out, I think business owners should have their face on the side of their vehicle so everybody can
Mm.
see who they are. I think that would go over well. It might grow the business a little bit more. You'll appreciate that tip one day.
I think the cost of my wraps might go up if I have to put my face on them.
Just on yours. Just on yours. It's like
Just on mine.
the realtor SUV when you see a picture on the side.
Gotcha,
I know that's
gotcha.
a tough decision to make, putting your face
I'll
on.
stick with the decals and the front plate. How about that?
I read online how I believe it was Devin came up with the name Salt Air for the company, but if you want to share that story, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, so Devin is the one that came up with the name Salt Air, and we kind of had that picked out even before we knew we wanted to start Salt Air. We're officially going to start Salt Air. Um, and the reason for the name is Devin grew up in Wilmington. Um, all of his family is from the Brunswick County area. And to him, when he was on his travels and stuff, when he comes home, and you smell that salt air, to him, it smelled like home. And so salt air seemed like a good name and definitely a good fit for the coastal Carolina area.
I thought it was a wonderful story because we don't live at the beach. We know it, I think, when we smell it, but if we're not there for 4 or 5 years at a time, you kind of
Yeah.
forget about that. So, but I think that's cool. And I think he also said, or the article said, he didn't want to be XYZ Heating and Air Company, right?
Yeah, we didn't want
Yeah.
there's a lot of family names
Mm.
and I think that's wonderful for those
Yeah.
companies. It just wasn't a good fit for us. We wanted it to kind of the business name to kind of stand for
Yeah.
itself, be its own brand.
Yeah, I like stories on that. The other thing I've learned about BNI folks is the amount of time they give back to the community. So you're involved in a couple things. One is Ducks Unlimited, which we will get to. I have a couple questions on that. The other
Okay.
one is WARM, Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministry. Now, what do you guys do there, and how'd you get into that?
Sure. So WARM is a local nonprofit started here in Wilmington. Again, that acronym stands for Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministry. And WARM actually started after Hurricane Fran, making emergency repairs to homes in the area that were damaged from the hurricane. Now we still do that. They still respond. We had a lot of work after Florence here just a few years ago and Hurricane Matthew, but they also do repairs for homeowners that maybe are low income or veterans, maybe they're disabled. They have really worked hard to own their home and maintain their home as best they can, but maybe at the time they need a ramp. They can't get up and down the stairs, or maybe there's bathroom repairs or flooring repairs that are needed, but they don't have the means to make those repairs. And they can call WARM or reach out to warmnc.org and apply for help through there.
Very nice. How often do you guys get involved with any of those type calls?
So I actually serve on the board of directors for WARM and have for the past 5 years. Served as board chair for 2 of those years, and we bring out the team to volunteer. We try to go quarterly and work on a project with them. But we get called out if they need an opinion on the heating and air, or maybe the heating and air is out. I really try to be more of a resource for them and connect them with other trades that can help. So
Very nice. Again, that's one of the neat things about BNI. The type of folks in BNI is giving back to the community. So you were 2 years on the board and 4 months as your chapter president. Did I get that math right? I'll let that.
yeah.
I'll let that one go by. Um, the other thing I've been told is that you love to duck and fowl hunt with your sister.
Yes. So we growing up, our dad really got us involved in the outdoors and hunting, pretty much anything. And it's something that we enjoy doing with him. And my sister and I, we still go on hunts every year. Some of those hunts we're going with other friends or family, but we try to make it a point to go on a girls' hunt every year too. So
Very nice. Does she live in the area?
she lives in Raleigh.
Which is you're from the Fuquay area, correct?
Yep,
All right.
just south of Fuquay.
All
Yep.
right. Plenty of a hunting ground out around there, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. We grew up on a farm there in Harnett County. So,
nice. How old were you when you? And I'm not taking a stand on this. I just think it's a good story. How old were you when you first started shooting guns?
oh, I was probably 8 or 9 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah.
Do you bow and arrow hunt as well?
I have not hunted with my bow in a few years, but that's something I did growing up as well. And I still have my bow and practice when I can, but you need to practice a lot to
Mm.
be able to make that shot when it counts.
I would assume that's considerably harder than shooting a gun.
Yes. Yes.
Did
A
you
little
en-
more involved.
did you enjoy that?
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
all right. Do you fish much?
I do. I hunt more than I fish.
All right.
Devin is a big fisherman, loves going fishing around here. So yeah.
Your favorite fish to catch and eat is what?
Oh, catch and eat.
Or
I would
just eat?
probably say do what?
Or just eat?
Or just
Yeah.
eat. Tuna for sure.
Okay. Is now how big a family out that way did you marry into?
So Devin has quite a few cousins and aunts and uncles around here. So it's not a small family, we'll put it like that.
Out my wife, her dad has a massive South Texas family, and it was my hope and dream just to see a face and remember who they went to. Thinking about all the names, no chance, no
Yeah.
chance. So, how often do you guys get together, and how big are those reunions?
So we get together, the big groups, probably holidays are the biggest
Mm.
times we get together with them, but we get together with the family that's close by. Gosh, probably every couple months or so.
Okay, good eating,
Yeah, always.
good stories. They get better each year, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling those now. So, you and Devin are also doing a home improvement project. I just love hearing these stories. Tell us how the weekend went.
Yeah, so we're remodeling our bathroom, master bath, and um, it's taken a few weekends, and we've got our shower and tile folks in there today, so hopefully they can get their portion wrapped up this week, but we'll see.
Blueprints, negotiations, all that stuff prior to breaking ground?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yep.
Now, did you tell him what it was going to look like when it was done?
Yeah, I had a good idea of what I wanted it to look like,
It
and Devin C's just like, I just want
yeah,
updates and
yeah.
more space. So
And of course, he agreed with everything, right?
yeah, yeah.
You a couple of years ago, you were named to the 40 under 40 in the
Mm.
Cape Fear area, and you were considerably younger than 40, if my math is correct. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
So thank you.
How did that come about?
Well, the Star News, local newspaper here in town, and the Wilmington Area Chamber of Commerce every year put out a list of the top 40 under 40 folks around town. And I was honored to be on that list back in 2020 for both, bu- business world things and, of course, my work in nonprofits. So very honored. We didn't get to do a big,
Yeah.
celebration, of course, in 2020, but it was a big deal. And yes, I was a little younger than 40. And I'll say several people pointed that out that because of course they publish your
Yep.
age.
Yep.
And folks love to point that out of I didn't realize, how old you were. And I, I just said thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Took
I
took
thought
it
it
as
was.
a compliment.
Oh, well, yeah. When I read it and realized you were, younger than 40, I thought, dang right. It's like, that's what I do. Do you use that every now and then with family and friends to, it's like, hey, 40 under 40 here. I'm going first in line. Do you throw that out there any?
I do not.
Oh,
I do
Brooke, you
not.
should save it for one time.
Okay.
Just throw it just one time. If they remember, I don't know. Family tends to forget a lot of good things you do. So I don't know what
Yeah.
yours like, but Devin will remember. So one day, just if there's like one slice of pie left, like, dude, 40 under 40 here. Okay. I'm going to take that
Well,
last one.
he won 40 under 40 in
Oh,
2021. So
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
he
but
won it the next year.
okay. But you won it first. Oh
True,
yeah,
true. I want it
there's
forever.
two trump cards right there. um, you also own Vent Ninjas.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's another thing I learned, actually from being a homeowner for years, but also in BNI is hardly anybody cleans their vents out in their house, right? Which is hopefully a lot of money for you to make. But the dryer vents can be a problem.
Yeah, so, we started Vent Ninjas in 2021, and they do duct cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, indoor
Oh,
air quality products, and yes, dryer vents, they're kinda out of sight, out of mind,
mhm.
and, people don't really think about it, but it's definitely good to clean them at least once a year.
Now, I have heard this before from some people. I forget, this was a couple years ago. I forget how we got on the conversation, but somebody mentioned they were walking outside of their house one day over by their dryer vent and they saw lint and stuff coming out. And I told them, I don't think that's good.
They should definitely probably have it at least inspected, but that means it's time for it to be cleaned.
I think most people living in a house 5 years or less have never cleaned their dryer vent out. That would
No,
be my bet.
no.
So, always love when I have a married couple on the show to ask you, how did you and Devin meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Uh Our stories are pretty close, but we, actually met through mutual friends. I, was at a or took a friend, dropped him off at a restaurant and hung out for a bit, and Devin was there, and I didn't know who he was, and, anyway, I left because I had to head out and go to, work. I was still in college at the time, and, Devin asked, who I was with or if I was with anybody and, "What's her name?" And, so we went out on a, double date a couple weeks later and, been dating ever since, so
So when did you know, hmm, this could be good?
Oh, I'm supposed to say right away, right? Isn't
You can
that
say
isn't
whatever you want. Nobody, it's
that
just me and you, Brooke. You say whatever
Yeah,
you want.
it was pretty soon, pretty soon. Yeah, we got along really well and had a lot in common, so
Where was the first official date?
our first official date, TGI Fridays, which
Oh,
actually is not
solid.
in town anymore.
No, I don't think it's in many towns anymore.
Yeah, I think the closest one might be Garner or something.
Is there still one up this way?
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'd have lost that bet. Yeah, very nice. How long did it take for you guys to meet each other's parents?
Devin, let's see, Devin met my mom first. She came to town to see me here at school, and gosh, it was probably maybe 6 months. Within 6 months or
Mhm.
so, we started dating.
And more importantly, did your sister give him the thumbs up? Like, "You can keep
She
dating
did.
him?" Okay.
She did.
Didn't take long?
No, no. And now, we joke, we feel like Devin's been around forever, and
Mm,
so he's she treats him like a big brother.
okay. So y'all are coming up on 12 years-ish being married?
Coming up on 11, May will be
11,
11 years
okay.
married. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, you started before the business, okay. Alright, so
Yeah.
11 years, boy, young love's wonderful.
Yeah.
I got a grandkid almost older than you've been married, so so anyways, I try to do intel work. I have a crack research team.
Okay.
Uh, I understand that you and Devin will no longer travel north of Baltimore.
Devin will.
Okay,
Uh, Devin will.
okay.
Yeah, it seems like every time I go, up north, one, it's really cold, which I don't handle the cold too well. And I don't know, something always happens. So,
What happens when you head that way?
let's see. Once we got in a car accident when we went out of town. One time we um were going through Baltimore and went through, not exactly the safest
Mhm.
area. Um not a very savory area, and it was just Not good, not good. So, yeah.
Will you travel south?
Oh, all the time.
Okay. All right.
I'll
We
go north too, but it just seems like every time we do, something happens. So,
So from now on, it better be on an airplane, right?
yeah.
Do you guys get
I'm
around?
just better prepared,
There you go.
prepared
And
for it.
being business owners, do you guys get to vacation much?
Not a ton. We do at least do something every year for our anniversary, and we'll go on a couple of hunting trips in the fall, winter. Some of those together, some of them we go separate, but we try to get away when we can.
Can you decide like today that, hey, we're going to take Friday off and make it a long weekend? Can you guys ever pull that off? Stuff like that?
Yeah, we can. We definitely, if it's kind of within the week, we just
Yeah.
have to really plan and adjust our schedule. A lot of times our schedules, meetings and that sort of thing is about 2 weeks out.
Okay.
So we would probably have some adjusting to do, but we
Yeah.
can make it happen if we needed to.
There were a lot of businesses that sent their employees home to work during COVID, and we know HVAC people, they can work from the home, but they can't work at home. How did you guys handle that transition going into COVID and then coming out of it, mostly coming out of it as we are?
Yeah, we were actually really fortunate through COVID. Our business grew. Of course, early March, April, May, there were a lot of nerves, trying to navigate changes we needed to make. Um, we sent out emails and kept our customers up to date on the changes we were making. Um, we because of hurricanes, we had already really made the change to be paperless and have everything on computers, tablets. You can handle everything through email, from payments to approving estimates, reviewing charges, anything like that. So we were fortunate in that we had that already set to go. Um, the other changes made, we kept our staff in the office. Everyone has their own office and their own workspace, so they were able to, stay separate from one another. We did close our office for a little bit to, outside guests or visitors. Our vendors, of course, were able to drop off and make deliveries, but a lot of washing hands
Yeah.
and tools and using hand sanitizer and that sort of thing. But um, we made adjustments to our scripts for our CSRs when folks would call in, just making that ask of, if there's anyone that's symptomatic or um, any any other precautions we need to make, can we just make a note of those? And we just kind of adjusted and made pivots when we needed to.
As you've grown the company, how many different offices have you had? How many different buildings have you been in?
For Wilmington, we've been in when we left the house because we had our office at home for a while. Um, let's see, after that, we're in our third office here in Wilmington.
All
So,
right. And you guys cover 4 county area ish?
so
Did I
we
read right?
cover Brunswick, Pender, New Hanover,
Yeah.
so the three um, counties here in the Cape Fear area. And we do have an office in Southport. We're actually doing a ribbon cutting for it
Oh,
tomorrow, moving it into a larger space. So
nice. Okay, you can
yeah.
now I'm learning the Wilmington geography. And when I talk about Brunswick and Leland and Southport in that area, because we're trying to start a chapter in Brunswick, and then of course naturally I meet somebody from Leland, so we can talk there. And then I meet somebody from Southport, and I brought it up in a meeting one day. It's like, hey, I met so and so there in Southport looking to start their chapter, and the three people that lived in Leland went, no, that's too far away. And so I'm learning that county geography that, wow, that, and then I pulled it up one day on a map. It's like, wow, that's a long way away.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No.
I can make it to our Southport office in about 30,
Yeah.
40 minutes. going straight there. But yeah, Brunswick County is much larger than New Hanover. So yeah, making it from Leland to Southport or
Yeah.
Leland to Charlotte or Ocean Isle, it's a
Mm.
little bit of a drive.
And that county runs north south, and it's real.
Yes.
It's like an Olympic swimmer. It's very thin and very tall. It
Yes.
just you look at it's like, okay, I get it now. The other thing I learned is, yeah, we don't go over the bridge.
You hear that a lot. Yeah. Both ways, both
Yes.
ways.
Oh yeah.
Wilmington to
Yeah.
Brunswick and Brunswick to
Yeah.
Wilmington.
And then sometimes it's brought in, oh, we'll have to take the ferry. Yeah, we're not going to do that. What I like about getting to meet people, and you and I we've known each other, I think maybe 2 months, just when I come down to visit. So I always like hearing people's stories. There's a cool story about a keychain you have from your dad.
Yeah, you do some research, don't you, Mike?
Page 3 of Google, that's where the gold is. I tell people that all the time, page 3. So, but I thought it was a cool
Yeah,
story.
my dad gave me a keychain that he had and carried for a little bit. It's just a Ducks Unlimited keychain he had from back when he was on the committee there in Harnett County. And when I was so involved in Ducks Unlimited, especially starting out working on the chapter at UNCW, he was like, "Hey, you want this?" And I don't know, it's one of those things, one of the last things he gave me, and so something I keep.
Very cool. Oh, I love those. Yeah, I've got a couple things from my folks and just love looking at them all the time. So, your mom's side and your dad's side, are they both from Harnett County, and how many generations you go back to that world?
Yeah, so both families, they're from North Carolina, born and bred. So my dad's family is pretty big. I think I'm one of 13 or 14 cousins on my dad's side. So pretty large family, large gatherings on that side. And my mom, she has two sisters and smaller on my mom's side, but still a good bit of family in the area.
Yeah, my dad had a brother. My mom was an only child, so my family size growing up was my family size. I did,
Yeah.
and I've got 3 cousins from my dad's brother, and we didn't really know or 4, we didn't really know them a bunch. They lived in Cleveland, and then I met my wife's family. It's like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me."
Yeah.
I don't know how you remember all those names, but there's a family reunion one time. My father-in-law was, born and raised in Banquete, Texas, which is south of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And there must have been, I swear to you, there was 100 people there. Now, it probably was only 70, but unreal with the cousins
Yeah.
and the other second cousins and all that. It's kind of fun, but it's nerve-wracking when you're the one marrying into that, trying to remember who's who.
You eventually figure it out.
Yeah, I'll just like I said, happy to get the faces and know who they went with because the names, I saw them about once every 5 years.
Yeah.
All right. So the people listening and watching today, what's the first thing they need to do to go check out their HVAC unit now that they've been educated by the show today?
See when they change their filters
All
last.
right. Ha-
Biggest thing, and then just call a local company that they trust or get a recommendation from a neighbor and have someone come out and check over their unit and make sure it's at least an annual thing, if not biannually.
The air filters at the Home Depots of the world, you can get these HEPA filters, you can get this, that, and the other. What do we really need to make sure it's done correctly?
Sure. So we recommend a filter with a MERV 8 rating. It's just the rating of the filter, number of pleats, that sort of thing. But we recommend MERV 8. They go all the way up, past MERV 11, I think. But for a standard residential home, MERV 8 filter is good.
Mm. So the last tip you're going to give everybody listening is love to hear stories from female business owners
Mhm.
because I know it's not easy because my kind is stupid and closed minded and try to like, oh, women, so I hate that. So I love meeting successful small business women. Give the folks a tip that maybe out there thinking about, oh, I could never do this. I don't know about that. What's a couple things to keep in mind for them to let them know that they can be a small business owner?
Just doing your research on your industry and your profession and making yourself an expert. And if you don't know, don't pretend like you do, or just give an answer that you think might be correct. It's okay to say that you don't know. If someone asks me a question, I'll tell them I don't know, but I will find the answer and get the correct information to them. So that would be my biggest tip, is just, if you want to start your own business, that's wonderful. It will open so many doors for you, but make sure that you're constantly doing your research, and make sure you're a lifelong learner, always researching, always reading, becoming an expert in your field.
I love the tip. And I'm with you. It's okay to say don't know, but I think I can have that answer to you by the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get great confidence from people that tell me that. It's like, okay, I'm going to get my question answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the folks in the Wilmington area, Salt Air, please give them a call. They are truly one of the leaders in the area. But also, if you want to meet a quite entertaining, successful group of small business owners at Brooks chapter, it is Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. at Angus Grill. What was the thing that drew you to that group?
Um, well, I visited Tropical Storm BNI first, several years ago, 5, 6 years ago. Visited a couple other ones, but there's just there's just a really good vibe in our group, and we get along with each other, and truly take the time to get to know one another and build those relationships. Um, I use so many people in my group for, let's see, health insurance.
Mm.
There's a flooring expert, a painter, and there's so many folks in my group that I can also use as a resource. If I don't use them personally or for my business, if a question comes up or someone asks me something, I can refer them out and be confident that those folks are going to be taken care of. So
And what I've learned from your group is, for the most part, everybody's fair game during the meeting should they say something dumb, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have heard you and others just take liberties with the president when he stands up and talks and says something. So, and John,
Yeah.
friend of the show, he's been on. So, yeah, but it's fun to watch. But you want at 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, you better be entertained if you're going to want to stay in a group. So that's one of the things I love about your group.
That's right. We have a good time.
Oh, you do. You do. So, anyways, folks, if you are in the Cape Fear area, learn that as well. I had to learn exactly what that would involve. But if you're in the Cape Fear area, need some help with your HVAC, electrical, vent ninjas, plumbing, something to do with your house, give Brooke a call. We've been putting her number up here during the show, so give them a call. I know you'll be in good hands. Brooke, thanks for coming out on the show today, and I hope your master bathroom turns out as you wished.
I hope so too. No. It will. It will. Thank you for having me, Mike.
You bet. And we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.